December 1916. St. Petersburg, Russia. A man is fed enough potassium cyanide to kill a small army. He doesn't even blink. This is the story of how an illiterate peasant became the shadow ruler of the world's largest empire. History remembers him as a mad monk, a mystic, an unkillable demon. But behind the supernatural myths lies a much darker reality, a web of political blackmail that brought down a 300-year-old dynasty. Grigori Rasputin crawled out of the frozen plains of Siberia, claiming to be a holy visionary to the high society elites of the capital. Bored of luxury and obsessed with the occult, he was an exotic thrill. But Rasputin was hunting much bigger prey.
Rasputin used his unfettered access to the Tsarina to weaponize the empire's deepest secrets. He began running shadow cabinet. High-ranking officials quickly realized a brutal truth: if you wanted a political promotion in Russia, you didn't ask the Tsar. You bribed the monk. He held the strings of power, and no one dared to cross him. Every political appointment, every dismissal, and every royal decree now passed through his hands first. 1915. World War I erupts. The Tsar leaves for the war front to command the army, leaving Rasputin virtually alone with the Tsarina. He begins firing prime ministers and appointing puppet politicians. By late-night seances, rumors fill the streets of Russia. The empire is being ruled by a mad spy. The government was paralyzed, while soldiers bled on the battlefield. The capital fell into absolute chaos. Rasputin had reached the absolute peak of his corrupt power, but his enemies were finally drawing a line in the sand.
The Russian aristocracy decided the monk had to die to save the country. On a freezing December night, Prince Felix Yusupov invited Rasputin to his palace. The basement was prepped. The cakes and the wine served to him were laced with enough potassium cyanide to kill 5 men instantly. Everything was set for a perfect murder. They waited in the shadows, listening for his footsteps. They thought the poison would end the empire's nightmare in minutes. They had no idea they were about to create a legend. He ate the cakes. He drank the wine. He felt nothing and demanded more. Panic-stricken, Yusupov drew a revolver and shot Rasputin directly in the chest. The monk collapsed, but as the killers leaned over the body, Rasputin's eyes snapped open. He stood up, grabbed his killer by the throat, and fled into the courtyard. The men screamed in pure terror. They were no longer hunting a man. They believed they were fighting a demon that had climbed straight out of hell. The conspirators chased him down, shot him 3 more times, bound his hands with thick rope, and threw him into the frozen Neva River. When his body was recovered days later, doctors found water inside his lungs. Rasputin hadn't died from poison or bullets. He was still breathing underwater. The physical body of the monk was finally still, but his final, terrifying act of vengeance had already been set in motion. Before his death, Rasputin sent a written warning to the Tsar: if your relatives kill me, none of your family will remain alive for more than 2 years. 15 months later, the Tsar, his wife, and all his children were executed in a dark basement. The curse was fulfilled. The empire had collapsed exactly as he predicted. Was Rasputin a prophet of doom, or the ultimate master of political ruin?
Unlocking secrets of the past. This is QSTP for you.